The UFC heads back down to Miami, Florida for another stacked pay-per-view card. And in the main event, we have the vacant featherweight title on the line as Ilia Topuria vacated the title and went up to lightweight. We still don't know exactly what his plans are, although he should be fighting the champion. We don't have no clarity on that, but we do have clarity on who could potentially be holding the 145-pound strap come Saturday evening, as we have former champion Alexander Volkanovski taking on streaking contender Diego Lopes. In the co-main event, we have a 5-round scrap between rising prospect, I guess he's not a prospect anymore, rising fan favorite Paddy Pimblett taking on the ever-entertaining Michael Chandler. Not to mention, we have the UFC debut of Bellator legend Patricio Pitbull taking on Yair Rodriguez, and then we got a bunch of other great fights sprinkled out throughout the card. Reminder, this is the quick picks version for the UFC 314 card. If you're looking for the full card breakdown, you can check out the MMA Lawcast, which I dropped earlier this week, going nearly an hour talking about every single fight in depth, rather than me just getting right to the point for every single fight. So if there are some details that you're like, hey, why did he pick this certain fighter in this specific matchup? Go check out the MMA Lawcast on my YouTube page, or check the link in the description below to get a direct link to that video, and go to the timestamp that I have for that matchup, and you can find out the information there. Reminder, PFL is also going down this Friday, and I'll have a full card breakdown for that on the YouTube page, as well as LFA. I believe it's 206. I could be off on the number there, but they have another card going down on Friday as well. I'll have a full card breakdown for that on Thursday, so stay tuned for that. Or if you want the written breakdown and the track plays for all these cards, you can check out the MMA LOT and Patreon page. Link for that in the description below. All right, let's not waste any more time. Hope you're laced up and ready to go, because we're off and running with the first fight of the night between Haley Cowan and Nora Cornolle. I do lean on the Cornolle side. As much as I've hammed her in the past in terms of being a bad fighter, I think she's a little bit better here than Cowan, and I think her Muay Thai approach and physicality will allow her to stay away from being bullied by the bigger Cowan, and ultimately leading to Cornolle winning this fight on the scorecards. Next up, Trishan Gore going up against Marco Tulio. I do like Tulio on the spot, but I can't agree with that minus 320 line. I expect him to put together a better overall game and eventually lead to him finding that big shot to get Trishan Gore out of there in under 1.5 rounds. Next up, Sumudaerji going up against Mitch Raposo. I believe this is the fight that we can see redemption for Raposo, and I expect him to show us his best version here, mixing his underrated striking with his patented grappling approach, and I think he'll be able to put Sumudaerji through the ringer and eventually come out with a submission victory. Next up, Cedric Dumas going up against Michal Oleksiejczuk. I'm not a big Dumas fan, but I do think he is a fighter that has the tools to defeat the aggressive style of Oleksiejczuk. Look for Dumas to engage in the clinch and maybe even get this fight to the ground, but ultimately leading to a submission win for Dumas. Next up, Darren Elkins going up against Julian Erosa. You can't count out old man Elkins doing the damn thing by continuously getting opponents into the wrestling realm and out-grappling them, and that could cause Erosa some problems here. I'm still going to go with Erosa to win this fight by landing more damage over the course of 15 minutes and winning this fight on the scorecards. Next up, Jim Miller going up against Chase Hooper. Both guys, high-level BJJ specialists, but you have to go with the youth of Hooper in this fight, as I expect him to land the better shots and get more control time over the aging veteran. But minus 750, minus 900 is not a line I want to tie myself to, especially with a guy that has as much experience as Jim Miller does. Next up, Xiaonan going up against Virna Jandiroba. I do think this is a clear striker versus grappler matchup, but I have to lean with the BJJ wizardry of Jandiroba. I expect her to find ways to get this fight into the grappling realm, whether it's even with a traditional takedown or jumping the back or pulling guard. I expect her to get this fight to the ground and continuously control Yan. Look for Jandiroba to win this fight on the scorecards. Next up, Dan Ige going up against Sean Woodson. I think this is the fight Woodson has been waiting for, to finally crack into the rankings and get some respect, and I think it is a perfect stylistic matchup for him to showcase his boxing approach to box Dan up from distance and eventually win this fight on the scorecards. Next up, Nikita Krylov going up against Dominic Reyes. I do think that Reyes will provide some solid resistance here, but I think Krylov's aggression and grappling will allow him to control this fight optically speaking, and that will allow the judges to score the fight in his favor. Next up, Yair Rodriguez welcoming Patricio Pitbull to the UFC. This should be a fun fight that I believe will produce a knockout on either side, but I have to lean with the length and reach and speed of Rodriguez, as I think he'll be able to counter Pitbull effectively here and eventually find that big shot to put him away. Next up, Bryce Mitchell going up against Gene Silva. A lot of love coming in on Mitchell throughout fight week in this matchup. And I understand the grappling is there, obviously, but I think Gene Silva will be too hard to contain and too hard to control. And I think it's just a matter of time before Silva lands that big shot and puts Bryce Mitchell out. Co-main event now between Michael Chandler and Paddy Pimblett. Going into this, I fully expected to pick Chandler, but it's hard considering that this guy's only out there to entertain the masses. I think Pimblett will fight a smart enough game plan here, whether it's keeping Chandler at bay with his kicking approach or eventually initiating the grappling and utilizing his superior BJJ to control Chandler throughout this matchup. But I think Pimblett will eventually win this fight on the scorecards, but he'll have to eat a couple big shots if he ends up getting this win. All right, main event now, featherweight title on the line as we have former champion Alexander Volkanovski going up against Diego Lopes. Now, Lopes has been taking significant action this week, which has brought it from -150 on Volkanovski down to a near pick'em, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Lopes as the favorite by fight time. But it's hard to overlook the body of work that Volkanovski has put together, and even in his fight against Topuria, which he was winning up until the knockout, I believe he'll showcase that there are levels to this, and he'll put Lopes through the grinder with his footwork, his movement, his kicking game, his takedowns, and ultimately his cardio, running away with this fight in the championship rounds and either producing a finish in the round 4 or round 5 or winning this fight on the scorecards. And you, once again, Alexander Volkanovski. There you guys go. Quick picks for UFC 314. Very excited for this pay-per-view card this weekend. Again, don't forget about PFL and LFA going down on Friday. Otherwise, I will see you guys again tomorrow for the Lockheed Trinity / Lockheed Two-Step free parlay segment. I'll see you guys then. Peace.